We got fours, we got twos, we got creepy old people, and more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the screening room.
Are either one of these any good?
Wow, this is a good movie.
It's pretty good.
Well, the director from yesterday doesn't think so.
It stinks.
You sorry? You waste our film.
It's so bad!
Welcome back in the screening room. She is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And we're from MaddWolf.com, checking out some new releases in the theaters for streaming. And also, I believe we're going to check in with the Schlocketeer for some studio news and notes. Haven't talked to the Schlocketeer for a while. I think that was a little bit on us, a little bit on him, but we're getting it ironed out. So welcome. Let's start back to the superheroes for the latest on the big screen this weekend.
We will start on the big screen. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, the Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer. It's the Fantastic Four First Steps.
So over the last, 20 years or so, this is the third film, I believe. And I do remember the cartoon as a kid, but honestly, the Fantastic Four, it's a group of superheroes that have never really thrilled me that much. And I kind of always wondered why they keep doing this. They keep insisting that we love the Fantastic Four. But maybe this time they got it right.
I think one of the things that they did right this time was they don't set them in present day. It's not a specified timeline.
Yeah.
Although there is a moment where Captain Fantastic is
that's Elton John,
whatever.
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. Reed, where Reed is writing, he's teaching science, and he points out that because of this equation, we know that parallel universes and parallel Earths are all possible. So maybe that explains why it looks like it's this very tidy 1960s, but a very futuristic 1960s, like the Jetsons, and everything is integrated and everybody's happy and everything is clean, but there are like flying cars and robots.
I do like
that. It's super fun. The vibe is awesome.
Right away from the very first trailer, I thought, okay, all right, I can tell they're trying to do something new, which is appreciated after all these Marvel movies, and especially with Fantastic Four. So yeah, they got me more interested in the trailer. I do like the look of it.
And I think, that it not only does it allow, I think, for these characters to be more like the characters of the comic books, but it's in keeping with this sort of very sweet new trend in superhero movies of wholesomeness. And the Fantastic Four, somebody asked today, is this appropriate to take your kids? Wildly appropriate for your kids. It's an incredibly wholesome. I mean, it's not like eye rolling or that adults won't like it, but it's a really endearing film where Pedro Pascal plays Mr. Fantastic and Dr. Fantastic, I guess. I don't know. He's fantastic. And he's married to Sue Storm. I know that, played by Vanessa Kirby, and they are pregnant. And of course, he's got a big brain. He's like this brainy, that's his deal. He's analytical, and so the core conflict in this movie is he's smart until he has a baby, and then he doesn't know anything because you don't. I don't know if you've ever had a baby, but you don't know a damn thing.
Not a thing.
And it's such a very honest, real vulnerability that it brings to the entire story, but they can't focus on this for too long because, as George mentioned, Galactus, the world eater, is coming. The Herald, Silver Surfer, played by Julie Garner, she shows up first, and Johnny Storm, right, who is played by Joseph Quinn, gets a crush because why wouldn't he? He likes women and he likes outer space, and outer space reflects off of her. She seems to be naked in silver. Yeah, he's smitten. And so he kind of develops this side sort of relationship with her, which becomes useful later on. But for me, the most important thing was as soon as he talked, Galactus is voiced by Ralph Ineson, who is the dad from The Witch, and just the greatest voice. Everybody should have this voice in their scary movies. He's and it's a very interesting villain. He's just sort of weary. He's not like mean, he's just weary. And he wants their baby. That's never good. I like this movie so much more than I expected to.
Yeah.
Because the first two were, especially I think the second one with Michael B. Jordan, really disappointing because the cast was great. The cast of the second one, the one in the middle, that was a great cast. That was a stellar group of actors. And the movie just... And the first one was just bad all the way around. I mean, these movies have just not been very good. And again, we're not comic book people, so we don't have a lot of investment in these characters in the first place. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think that the performers, and I haven't mentioned Evan Moss Backrack, who plays the Thing, who plays Ben, poor doomed Ben, who's made out of stones now. They all bring a very relatable and lived-in camaraderie as like people who are best friends who live together. But there's a sweetness, you know, that reflects the entire atmosphere of the film. It looks good. I don't think the action sequences are, especially coming off of Superman, I don't think the action sequences, wow, like you might expect from a Marvel film.
That kind of fits the vibe a little bit, though. And we should mention the director.
Matt Shackman.
Yeah. Who I think has he only done a bunch of TV up until now?
Well, he's done one feature film, like an indie drama, maybe 20 years ago, and
Wow.
everything else in his career for like 25 years or more.
Well, you know, a little new blood, and maybe that's not a bad thing because, like we said, right away it seemed like they were trying something new. I do love that retro type vibe, Jetsons, kind of. Is it 60s? Is it now? Whatever. I like that, and yeah, just a different, a wholesomeness, right? Piggybacked onto Superman. Yeah, real nice. So definitely fit for the entire family. And you have to sit for two. I think most people with superhero movies now are pretty much conditioned to that.
Yeah.
You got two, and one of them does feature a glimpse of maybe a cameo or something. One of them is kind of for fun, right?
Yes, the one at the very end after all of the credits. It's really just for fun.
But you definitely, especially if you're a comic book person, don't want to miss the one in the middle.
I think I want to just, you know, I was impressed by, because of the storyline, because of the family, it's all about family because of the pregnancy and the baby. Almost always, especially in films that were written and directed by men, then the female character is very penned in to stereotypes of a maternal instinct and motherhood, and, you know, and it very rarely gets an opportunity to be a fully fledged character. Vanessa Kirby, a tremendous talent. Does a great job of finding some edges here. She gets really angry at times, righteously so, but at the same time, she doesn't feel like that knowledgeable mom who knows all, who's just, you know, she feels like, you know, a character with edges, and it's nice.
Why doesn't someone just tell her to calm down?
And Pedro Pascal is great.
Yeah.
He's really, really good in this role.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one that we liked more than we thought we would.
Yes.
Sort of the same way for Superman.
Yeah, it was.
But because always give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Like we said last week, open minds and open hearts. But yeah, we have a big recommendation for Fantastic Four. First steps, and very, very appropriate for the entire family.
Next, it's a horror movie that follows Max, who realizes that the residents and caretakers in the retirement home he started working at hide sinister secrets. Pete Davidson stars in The Home.
This is not appropriate for the entire family.
No, it's also just dumb.
Not at all. Yeah, it's the latest from James DeMonaco, who created the Purge franchise, and I think it was behind maybe 3 of them, and that's a solid franchise. It really is. It has its ups and downs, but it's a solid franchise. Agreed. And the big difference here is, you know, the social commentary in the Purge. You know, you didn't have to look too hard, obviously, to find it, but it was much more reality based, and it is still, I don't think it beats you over the head with it the way this movie does, and it certainly wasn't as dumb as this movie is, especially for the first hour. Anyway, Pete Davidson stars as a guy who gets in trouble. He's had some trauma in his past that he's had a hard time living beyond, and he gets in some trouble. But through some family connections, he gets sentenced to just community service, and the community service is being the custodian at this old folks' home, Green Meadows. And so he gets there, and he tries to make friends with some of the residents, but then he gets on the wrong side of some of the other co-workers. But pretty soon he's sniffing out some really effed up business that's going on, especially on the 4th floor, because for his first day on the job, they tell him, don't you go on the fourth floor. So of course
we'll collect the trash up there.
He's going to go on the 4th floor. So there's something really crazy going on. There's a mystery, and Pete has to sniff it out. And one thing, though, I think Pete Davidson does show he's got some chops to carry a movie. I mean, he's got a presence about him. This is not a good movie.
No.
But I don't think it's his fault. I mean, it's
Well, I
rooted
mean,
in this idea that is just doesn't hold water.
In supporting roles, that Riff Raff you saw this year,
Mhm.
Dumb Money from last year,
Yeah.
he does. He's got a very solid screen presence.
Yeah.
And he does a good job of carrying this as well as a person can. But I
Yeah.
mean, Meryl Streep would have had a tough time carrying this movie because it's just dumb.
Yeah.
And there are so many movies that I would like to compare it to that I'm not going to because it would give too much away.
Right.
But there's quite a niche
Yeah.
of horror films concerning aging, either that that a lot of times it's like, oh, gross old people, or it's like that's going to be us at some point. The idea, the horror is that you're slowly turning into that, or the idea of it's just another vulnerable population, in the way that if you put children in peril, it causes a lot of anxiety for a horror audience. So you might put vulnerable older people in peril. There's a lot to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of more somewhat recent horror films set in nursing homes. Jenny Penn from just earlier this year is one.
Mm-hmm.
But, this movie, I think one of the biggest problems is that there's a red herring that goes on for such a long time that it actually makes the entire film a bit dumb. It needed to take up less of the actual narrative space. And then the other thing is that you go a full hour before. I mean, when the movie gets bloody, it does it loud.
It does.
But it's like, as you said in the written review, it's too late to make up for the just boring nature of the first hour.
Yeah, there is one movie. I think it seems like it's really built on an idea that came from one other particular movie of the last few years, which I'm not going to mention because it gives too much away. But I will say the underlying theme of a movie exploring the idea that maybe the greatest generation isn't so great, I find that intriguing.
Yeah,
I do find that intriguing. There's fertile ground there.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it goes about it here just doesn't get it done. And yeah, like you said, when it gets bloody, when it escalates quickly, and almost enough to make me say, okay, is this going to be enough to save the movie? It's not. They don't go far enough. No. And then there's a final comeuppance with somebody that you really want to see get a comeuppance. And it's not strong enough. No. It's not, to me, it should have gone farther, even bloodier. And up until that moment, maybe taken a bit of a self-aware, maybe wink, wink. We know how ridiculous this is, but let's have fun with it. Maybe like the first Megan kind of thing might have worked here, but they take it much too serious. And it's just too foolish up until that bloody part, which gives you some thrills for a while.
It does.
But it's not enough to save it. This was really disappointing, even though it gets bloody at the end. And even though Pete Davidson, I still think does have, like you mentioned, has been solid in some supporting roles and does show some potential here with the right role.
Yeah.
Because he's got a presence on screen. But nope, disappointing. Can't recommend The Home, and that is out on the big screen now.
We'll go to Netflix next to revisit Happy Gilmore's golf career after his win in the Tour Championship in Happy Gilmore 2.
Okay, Brad, it's finally out. As we mentioned on the last podcast, a friend of ours has been waiting for this one, and I hope he likes it more than we did. It's been many, many years
I hope he
in the making.
I would really find that suspicious.
Adam Sandler is a hard guy not to like. I mean, over the years, he's done some great work.
Punch Drunk Love.
He's done some crappy work. He seems to be a devoted family man. Love that. He
does seem like a really great guy.
He seems like a great guy. Yeah. But too often, I think, his career has been littered with these movies that just seem like they're just an excuse for him to get his friends and family together. Let's throw a script together. Let's shoot some scenes, 1, 2 takes tops, then we'll move on and we'll keep the party rolling. And that's all we want to do with it. And that really is, unfortunately, Happy Gilmore falls into that category.
Happy Gilmore 2.
I'm sorry. Happy Gilmore 2 falls into that category. Yeah. This catches up with Happy, and he's not so happy because he's lost everything. And I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I think it's all over the internet what happens in the first few minutes of this movie that some people, especially fans of the first movie, are not happy about. I won't spoil it if you've seen that. I've noticed that, but I'll just say that he's lost everything and he has to start from the ground up. He takes a job at a supermarket before He's finally pulled back into the golf game, and it's through he's taken shots at this live golf tour. I don't know if you're a sports fan or you follow golf or whatever, but in the last several years, there's been this alternate tour to the PGA Tour, backed by all this money, this foreign money, the live golf tour. And I think they finally have made a merger or something. I'm not a big golf fan, but I am aware of it. And so the plot here is that a big mogul played by Benny Safdie, who was of course Adam's director and one of his best performances ever in Uncut Gems. Boy, see that movie if you haven't.
Oh yeah.
So he plays this guy that is trying to get Happy onto not the live golf, but Max tour. And so that's the conflict, and it comes down, and Happy doesn't want to do it, and it comes down to this big face-off between the old-time golfers, and there's a bunch of golfers that do cameos in this movie. So if you're a golf fan, you'll recognize all the faces and all the names, and some old classic golfers too, Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, people like that. So a lot of golf. So they go head-to-head in a grudge match with the new tour people and the old tour people, and that's how Happy gets back into it. So you see a lot of those cameos, the usual Happy Madison production people, the John Lovitzes, the Kevin Nealons, all those pop up. Somehow not David Spade. I was surprised. Not David Spade or Chris Rock, but pretty much everybody else. And then those wild cameos like Eminem and Bad Bunny and Travis Kelce and people like that. That just so many of these movies have. What it doesn't have is a lot of laughs.
No.
Very few laughs. No. Just some real contrived hijinks. Oh, I have to mention, of course, Shooter McGavin is back.
Yes.
Christopher McDonald. You can't have Happy Gilmore 2 without Shooter McGavin.
Oh, I think we got a winner. Sorry, it's a whole other movie.
Christopher McDonald.
I like it better.
And you've got a lot of nods, a lot of nostalgic nods to the actors from the first one who aren't here anymore. Bob Barker, of course. You get those nods. So it's very nostalgic. If you're nostalgic for Happy Gilmore, if you have Netflix, it's perfect. You turn it on, you're doing something else, you'll pop in, you'll see some hijinks, and that's about it.
You know what? It's not perfect. It's awful. It's awful. It's just awful.
I'm just saying, if you fit those parameters.
Yeah, there's something else you could be watching.
It's not funny. Very, very disappointed because, I mean, I'm not a huge of a fan of Happy Gilmore, as a lot of people are, but I like it, and it's quotable. It's got some. This one, I don't think so much, and it's a shame after all this time that this is what comes up with Happy Gilmore 2. But very disappointed. Sorry, Brad, and the people that were waiting for this movie, but disappointed in Happy Gilmore 2. It's on Netflix now.
Back to the big screen for the story of Iris and Isaac's first romantic weekend getaway that goes awry in a most unexpected way. It's called Oh, Hi.
There are so many people in this movie that we really like.
Yes.
So Logan Lerman, I've liked since he was a little boy. He's just one of those actors I've seen. And he reminds me so much of a neighbor of ours, one of our son's friends, that I'm always rooting for Logan Lerman and everything. But then, Molly Gordon and Geraldine Viswanathan are both always good in everything.
They really are. Throughout their career, they've often played the best friend or the friend. And then here in the last few years, they've had some lead roles, and they're always a treat, both of them. And it's Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman. They're just adorable as this couple. They're somewhat new. They've been dating a few months now, and they're going away on their first weekend getaway. So they find this secluded cabin. Oh, it's perfect. It's right by the lake. Yeah, David Cross is the weird neighbor down the road, but they can deal with him as he tells them not to have intercourse in the lake. And she says, "Sir, I'm wearing a one piece." So I laughed at that. But so they're having a great time. He's cooking the scallops for her, and they're fun and flirty and sexy. And then in a very delicate moment, they find out that, maybe they classify where they are and what they're doing differently. And then the next thing you know, and this is not a spoiler because it has it in the trailer, while Logan is handcuffed to the bed, kinky, Molly takes that time while he can't get away to spend the next 12 hours convincing him that she's the one. And that's where the hijinks ensue. And this is written and directed by Sophie Brooks. And it is made by and aimed squarely at millennials. Now, if you're a little older than that, I think you'll still appreciate it because it really dives into those anxieties. What we can only assume are the anxieties of the modern millennial. And it would terrify me. Let me tell you, it would terrify me. So I think you can still appreciate it, whatever age you are. But it does a good job having fun with them and being, insightful in a fun and funny way. I love some of the dialogue here. It seems very authentic. These two actors, Gordon and Lerman, are very comfortable with each other. They seem like a couple. Then they seem like a couple who misunderstand each other later. It does get silly because once Molly has cooked up this scheme, then her best friend, played by Geraldine Viswanathan, and then the best friend's committed boyfriend, played by John Reynolds, who's also very funny. They show up to maybe help out or not help out as they cook up these ways to maybe get out of this situation without being accused of kidnapping. And there are a couple of times when you think, well, in fact, one in particular that Logan could have, I'm saying, if you just do this, but he doesn't do it. But okay, that's just nitpicking. The point is, it's a fun movie. It is. It's fun. It's entertaining. I think if you're of a certain age, you'll really, really appreciate it just for the fun it has with the situation. And I like the dialogue, and I just like the fresh look at things. And all these performers are very likable. Yeah, they're very likable. So you just give in to the times when it gets a little over silly, and it's fun, and I think it's a nice night, especially for a date night out, something like that. And oh hi, I had fun with that, and that is on the big screen at the theaters now.
Next up on Shudder, a movie set in the Pacific 1942. A Japanese soldier and a British prisoner of war are stranded on a deserted island, hunted by a deadly creature. Two mortal enemies must come together to survive the unknown in Monster Island.
Is it Godzilla?
It's not.
I was hoping it was Godzilla.
No. It's sort of the creature from the Black Lagoon meets Rawhead Rex.
Okay.
So
underbite.
Underbite, yeah, a lot of teeth. And it's a rubber suit. But and it's maybe not a great one, but it beats the bad effects in the early part of the film where they're on this World War II boat, and the one Bronson is his name. It's played by Callum Woodhouse, and he is a British POW, and he escapes, as does Dean Fujioka is the lead actor. And he's actually a traitor to the Japanese Empire. And so we don't really know his backstory until the very, very, very end of the film. But the fact is that neither one of them can speak each other's language, and they are chained together by the ankle when they escape this ship as it blows up in the ocean. And they swim to shore, and they soon find out that this chain and the fact that they are attached by the foot to an enemy who doesn't speak their language, not their biggest problem.
So it's kind of like if you take the Defiant Ones and throw a movie at it. I'm sorry, a monster.
A monster.
The Defiant Ones with a monster.
Yes.
With a monster at it.
And I think that most of the film is just these two guys, well, three, right? The monster on this island, and it works out really well. It's been very well. It's a B movie. It's very much a B movie, but it's been very well edited to make the most of sort of tumult as they're falling down the mountainside, and they're trying to swim away from gators, and you just can't wait for you to see what happens to the gator. It's fun. It's a dumb, fun movie.
Yeah.
It takes itself seriously enough. It's not campy. It really isn't. It's just that the monster suit is a little bit dumb, and they seem to know it. They edit it around as best they can. I enjoyed it. It's not a great one, but it's a fun time waster.
They had a budget,
yeah,
and this rubber suit helped them meet it.
That's right.
Okay.
Also, I have a warm spot for Rawhead Rex. I gotta admit it. That's a terrible movie, by the way.
That's on every podcast, but right here,
that's right.
I have a warm spot for Rawhead Rex.
I do.
But hey, a good B movie, monster movie with a rubber suit, you could do worse.
Yes.
And you could do worse this week.
That's right.
But this one's on Shudder. This one's on Shudder, called Monster Island.
Also from Shudder, setting out to film their next paranormal investigation, Chris, Selena, and Jay encounter a malevolent ancient spirit that resides in an abandoned house deep in the woods. House on Eden.
Okay, yes, you could do worse on Shudder this week. And here's the one. Found footage that's a lot of questions.
Yeah. It is it's three people who have a ghost chasing video like YouTube channel, and that has been done already too many times. Sometimes quite well. Deadstream.
Really enjoyed it.
It's still on Shudder. It is a hoot. It's scary. It's funny. It's smart. There's integrity to the found footage.
And
Love Deadstream.
And it's pretty much a two-person show.
Yeah,
I think they did everything from acting it to edit it. Anyway, see Deadstream. This one. Back to this one.
But yeah, back to this one. And so Chris Collins, who is the star of the show, she also is on a podcast with her co-star Selena. Anyway, there's a lot. It's very meta. They all play themselves. Including their their social media tag. They announce into the camera. And the three of them go. Two of them think they're going to a cemetery to shoot their next video, but Chris has a better idea. And this is where you're like, what? No, we're going to go to this house on Eden that I found online. And that's all she says about it. Nobody's ever heard of it. Well, what is it? It's just a house? We don't know.
Online.
They're going to solve the mystery. What is the mystery? We're going to figure it out room by room. But it's a house. And as far as we know, you have no idea if there's anything wrong with the house, if it's haunted, if it's not haunted. We have no idea. There's no backstory. There's no mystery to solve. Well, she heard that one time, 60 years ago, a girl went missing somewhere in this area. And if by this area, you mean literally any square foot on planet Earth that a girl has gone missing in the last 60 years, yes, that's pretty vague. And the movie is it's just that lazily written. There's no stakes. There's no central story. It's very tedious. The found footage, and I know a lot of people love found footage and they let it go.
You can let it
go. Oh my God. And that's the thing. If you can watch it and you don't say to yourself, this has been found, who edited it all together? Why am I seeing something from this camera now and then from security footage now and then from this camera here? Who's working on film, by the way? Because that's a strip. And if that doesn't bother you, then the fact that this is incredibly weakly written and just tedious probably will. So I understand. I'm not the great audience. We are not for found footage films, although Blair Witch is still one of my all-time favorites. But
there are good ones.
This is not one of them.
And that is on Shudder now. It's called House on Eden.
Yeah.
And I think with that,
you know what? It's actually a Shudder film. It's in theaters now. It's in theaters now. It will be on Shudder soon.
Okay, so there you go. So you have one, Monster Island is on Shudder this week.
Yeah.
But this one in select theaters and then coming to Shudder probably.
So if you really feel like if you follow these people on YouTube, I'm begging you, just wait till it's free on Shudder. Don't go pay money to see it.
Yeah,
do what you will.
Unfortunately. And that is House on Eden, and that's on theaters coming soon to Shudder. Okay. I think we're going to the Schlocketeer, are we not? Did we do everything right? We did. All right.
Hello, friend.
Good to see you back at it here in the lobby where we check out all the latest studio news and notes. And Daniel Baldwin, a.k.a. the Schlocketeer, helps us do that. So what are you hearing?
Well, first off, Amazon is premiering a new remake of War of the Worlds on July 30th. It's a Screen Life take on the material. So you're just going to be staring at one star with multiple windows, kind of like searching and missing and stuff like that.
All right.
It stars Ice Cube, and it was shot in 2020.
Well, okay.
I don't know. That doesn't sound very promising to me.
I like the idea of moving it to Screen Life. I think, that's a new look at War of the Worlds. Yeah.
And we know why they did it that way in 2020.
We do.
But it's hard to understand why it took 5 years to come out. I don't know.
Well, my general take, anytime something takes that long to come out, is either it's not very good or it's really weird and they didn't know how to sell it. Hopefully it's really weird.
Yeah.
Moving on, Final Destination Bloodlines will be available to stream on HBO Max starting August 1st.
Yay. Tony Todd.
And then a week later on HBO Max, we get Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck's wild anthology feature, Freaky Tales, also hitting.
So great. Both of those made our top 10 horror films so far this year list. The first half of the year, both of those are on.
Yep.
As they should. Switching gears a little bit, Millennium Films' Sword and Sorcery Adventure remake, Red Sonja, is getting a theatrical release on August 15th. It stars Matilda Lutz. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It stars Matilda Lutz, Wallace Day, and Rona Mitra, and is directed by M.J. Bassett. The trailer was a little rocky, but I'm hoping the feature itself is decent.
Okay.
How often does that happen? Honestly,
Not very often, but M.J. Bassett made a Solomon Kane movie back in 2009 that had kind of a crummy trailer, but the movie itself is actually good. So, fingers crossed. And then Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is finally hitting VOD on August 19th. And this one's for Brandon Thomas, but Drafthouse Films will release Jim Hosking's latest film, Ebony and Ivory, in theaters on September 20th.
Yes, we have actually seen that already.
Ooh.
And yeah.
That sounds about right for one of his movies, so, you know.
Can't wait to talk about that. We were huge fans of The Greasy Strangler.
Huge.
And even An Evening with Beverly Loughlin was so weird, but had its moments. Ebony and Ivory is something else again, but we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah.
Soon enough. Shudder has announced VHS Halloween for October 8th. And some of the directors this time around are Paco Plaza, Anna Zlokovic, and Alex Ross Perry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Eclectic lineup on that.
Yes.
Yep.
And then A24 has said an October 10th limited theatrical release for a Rose Byrne starring drama that probably has the best title of a movie I've seen this year, and it's called If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
That's a great title and really a great life philosophy.
I think so.
Yeah, really. Edward Berger's new psychological thriller, Ballad of a Small Player, will premiere on Netflix on October 29th, and that stars Colin Farrell and Tilda Swinton. Automatic watch on that one.
Yes, for sure.
Tilda.
The Tilda. Yep.
And then just got a couple more things. First up, Lionsgate has officially postponed Antoine Fuqua's Michael Jackson biopic Michael from October of this year to April 24th next year. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the behind the scenes stuff on that one.
Not too much, although it's the nephew. It's one of Michael's nephews playing him. Is it not?
Yes. Originally, I guess it was going to go from his childhood up through the early 90s. But I guess someone didn't double check what they were allowed to talk about and what they weren't allowed to. So they had to cut the third act of the movie, reshoot some stuff. And now it will just stop at the end of his peak in the 80s. And if it does well, they might make another movie that goes on beyond that with some of the material they've already shot.
I see. Okay. Somebody didn't talk to somebody else.
Yeah, about stuff that isn't the nicest.
You know, it's a tough place to be because you cannot make a biopic like this without using his music, and you can't use his music without getting the okay of his
family.
Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with Queen. They were trying to make a Freddie Mercury biopic for decades. And you couldn't get an okay until Queen was like, no, this is basically have to be
water it down. Yeah.
So squeaky clean and just a commercial for our music. And it's unfortunate because we're not, it's same with the Bob Marley a couple years ago. We're not getting, it's almost not worth making them. I wish they would stop making them.
If they're going to do it that
way. Yeah. If you're going to do it that way, if you're going to get something, say like Rocket Man, then by all means, go right on ahead.
Where he was, you know, the people who own the music rights, you're like, yeah, go ahead, tell our actual story.
Yeah.
But
and even you know the recent A Complete Unknown certainly showed him as not a great guy all the time.
Well, you know what's interesting about both of those, they're still alive to say, no, it's okay, show me warts and all. Yeah. Whereas when it's just the people who will make money off of the sales of their songs, they're like, no, don't do anything that's going to make them seem less saleable.
Yeah.
Gross.
Keep that money rolling in.
Yeah, we shall see.
And speaking of money, last up, the FCC has approved the merger of Skydance and Paramount, which pretty much saved Paramount from. Yeah, there's good sides and bad sides to that for obvious reasons. we to get into that. The only good side to it that I see is.
You did cut out. You're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out there. Cutting. Nope. He's gone.
I feel like it's DC, but just doesn't want you to finish that sentence.
All right. Well, we'll have to check in. Nope. He's out. Okay. All right. Well, thank you anyway. You can check out with Daniel Baldwin, aka the Schlocketeer, on all the socials, and we will check in with Daniel again next week. Do we have the list? Speaking of next week, I got to run out and get it.
No, it's
Hang on.
It was right in front of us.
Is it right in front
What'd you do with it?
Uh,
there it is.
There it is. Okay, we do have the list.
We do have the list.
What's going on next week?
Well, Together.
Together.
Which we have seen, and I cannot wait to talk about it with you on this show.
Also, The Bad Guys animated film, The Bad Guys Part 2 is out next week.
Yep. Also, Cloud. So I'm very excited about that. We just got the link today. So it's not on the list because I didn't know we'd get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, The Naked Gun. I'll be honest, this looks awful. The trailer to me looks absolutely awful.
Yeah.
But open minds. Open hearts. I'll be happy to be wrong.
Yes.
I'm just saying the trailer looks terrible.
It does. Yeah. Also, She Rides Shotgun.
She Rides Shotgun. Let me tell you right now, I just watched this the other day.
Yeah.
This features one of the best child performances. This girl is tremendous.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that next week. She Rides Shotgun. Also one called Folk Tales.
Yep.
Okay, so that's next week. What about this week? What do you think about Fantastic Four? Or maybe you loved Happy Gilmore 2 or The Home? We love to keep talking about the movies. You can find us easily on all the socials. It's MaddWolf Columbus. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Threads and Blue Sky and TikTok. So come, let's hang out. And of course, here on YouTube. And of course, the main website is maddwolf.com, where you can find all of our written reviews and other fun stuff. And also be sure to check out Hope's book. Hope has a brand new book out. Did we mention that? She's got a brand new book out called Killer Pictures.
Look, that's it.
There it is, just out. And you can find it pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Or we have autographed copies if you want to get a hold of us through the website, right?
Yeah.
We love to get. It's a lot of fun. So a lot going on. Keep in touch. Have a great week. We'll talk again next week. Until then, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Screening Room Podcast. Shooter McGavin.
See ya.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner.